what I meant to do. Okay, so this is multiplying now, right? Multiplying integers. When you first learn to multiply, I'm doing a lot of reminding you of grade 1 and 2, and now we're up to grade 3. Remember what it's like to be in grade 3. And you learned to multiply something like 3 times 4. When you learned how to multiply 3 times 4, somebody taught you to do it with, probably they said, it's just like making groups of that. Or a way you could represent it on the number line is if you have 3 times 4, it's like on the number line doing 3 jumps of 4. Okay? Going forwards 3 jumps of 4. Okay? This is like saying I'm going forwards 3 jumps, and each jump is 4, right? Does that make sense? Can I draw it for you on here? We start here and you draw, there's one jump of 4. There's another jump of 4. And then where's the third one get me to? 12, right? This is like 4 and 4 and 4, right? What about if I need another number line here? What about if I'm, whoops, that's not good. Undo. What if I'm going to go something like 3 times negative 4? What's that like? 3 jumps of negative 4. Where does the jumps of negative 4 take me? Takes me this way, right?
Negative 12.
Negative 12. This is negative 12. What about if I if I make the first number negative? This is harder to think about with jumping. Okay, this is harder to think about with jumping here, but if we were going to think about this with jumping, this is not like going forwards 3 jumps. Whoops. Come on. Why is this so messed up here? Okay, we gotta get organized here. Went way up here for some reason. Guys, this is the tough one here. What does that mean? Going forwards 3 jumps of negative 4 or what? If a positive number first meant going forwards 3 jumps of 4, what does this mean? It doesn't mean going forwards 4. Going backwards. This is like going backwards 3 jumps of 4. Okay? Going backwards 3 jumps of 4. If I went backwards 3 jumps of 4, I get to negative 12, don't I? What's the last one I have to do here for the sake of completeness? Which one am I missing here? Which one am I missing? Let's look at the list here. I have a big mess by the looks of it, but I have, we had positive times positive. What did that give us? Positive times positive, even though it disappeared here, it gave us a positive. Right? Because you're going forward positive jumps. We had a positive times a negative. What did that get us as an answer? That got us a negative answer. Because you have a positive number of backwards jumps, right? You're adding negative jumps. You're adding jumps that go backwards, right? When we had a negative times a positive, it's hard to think about, but it's like going backwards a positive amount. When you have a negative times a positive, what did it give us? Negative. The last one's a tough one here. It's negative 3 times negative 4. It's hard to think about it in terms of a number line, what that means. How could we think about that in terms of a number line? This is like going backwards, but the jumps are also backwards. Like if you're going backwards, which way are you going? Forwards, right? If you go backwards in reverse, you're kind of going forwards, right? It's the old, if you're not going to do something, what does that mean? You're going to do it, right? If I don't hate this, computer, it means if I don't hate it, I like it, right? What should this give us? What should the answer be? Positive or negative? It's going to be 12, but should it be positive or negative? Positive 12, absolutely. You should probably learn for yourself that if you have a positive times a positive, that's what you learn in grade 3, it's a positive. If you have a negative times a negative, this is the one people get wrong, because you're taking away negative stuff repeatedly. It gives you a positive. This is a way to simplify this. So if the signs are the same, the answer is positive. If the signs are the same, the answer is positive. Whereas if you have positive times negative, or you have negative times a positive, that gives you a negative. Okay? What am I going to write here? If the signs are not the same, if the signs are the two numbers you're multiplying, up here let's use blue for positive. Actually, positive times positive or negative times negative. If those signs are the same, you get a positive as your answer. If you have the signs different, positive times negative, it gives you a negative. Or negative times positive, it gives you a negative. Okay? If the signs are different, you get a negative answer. That's kind of learning it as a rule. I would try to make sense of why that is instead of just remembering it without understanding it. Okay? You have lots of stuff to do in your study guide here. I want you to see that all that's involved in here, remember I showed you the table of contents for this? This is what's involved in chapter 8. 8.1 is exploring integer multiplication. They use integer chips and all those kinds of things. I would like you to understand how to work with things in terms of integer chips. But the next section is also integer multiplication. But this is more where you're trying to come up with the answer without drawing lots of pictures and stuff. And then you move on to integer division for 2 sections. And then you have order of operations and stuff. This should be a section you can do pretty well at. Don't take too long to work on each section because it's not that long. Each section is pretty short. You should be able to do this without spending a lot of time on it. Okay? Can you get going on? Here's your choice for the next half hour, what you have.